there, this is Shruti, and in today's video I want to talk to you about how to pick the best blogging platform for you and your needs. Now, when it comes to picking a good blogging platform, there are a couple of options out there which are thrown at us as new bloggers and that you may or may not have heard of. Now, I want to talk about these blogging platforms in order of specific factors that you need to be looking at when it comes to picking the right blogging platform. So there are 4 factors that you need to judge a blogging platform with. Number 1, a good blogging platform should be customizable. Number 2, a good blogging platform should be affordable. Number 3, a good blogging platform should be scalable. And number 4, it should be user-friendly, which means that it should be easy for you to use it and shouldn't be too chunky or difficult for you to understand. Now, when it comes to picking a blogging platform, there are 3 major platforms that most new bloggers struggle with or, kind of figure out between these, which of these platforms are the best for them. So the first platform that I'm going to talk about, which is also the largest and most common platform that people use for their blogging needs, is Wordpress.org. So that is the WordPress open source content management solution that people need when it comes to starting a blog on. Another option that people use is Wix, which is quite popular with e-commerce entrepreneurs as well as people who want to sell something online. And the third option we're going to also talk about is Squarespace, which is also quite common with service providers, coaches, consultants, as well as people who are looking for a more creative look to their site. Now, when it comes to WordPress, it meets all of the criteria that we want and that we just spoke about, besides the fact that it's not the most user-friendly or intuitive platform. This means that it does take a little bit of time for you to understand exactly how the technical bits of WordPress work and exactly how to leverage that to build your business. When it comes to Wix or Squarespace, even though they're quite easy to use and they have a huge heads up, when it comes to user friendliness compared to WordPress, on all the other 3 factors, they kind of lag back. So when it comes to customizability, as your blog grows, you want a website which you can easily customize, and that becomes a challenge with Wix or Squarespace because they don't necessarily always have the plugins and the tools that you need in order to customize them as much as you want. When it comes to affordability, Wix and Squarespace are also the more pricier options out of all 3 of them. Now, even though in the beginning, when you want to get started with WordPress.org, you have to also purchase a host and then install WordPress there, what Wix and Squarespace do is that they combine the host and the content management solution in one place and they offer you that. But that comes with a heavier price in the long run. So in terms of a monthly or annual expense, you end up paying more when you're using platforms like Wix or Squarespace versus WordPress. So even though at the beginning your installation cost for WordPress might be, let's say, $100 to $150 in the first year, when it comes to Wix or WordPress, it might look like $20 a month. But when you calculate that over the course of a year, it's easily twice or thrice as much. So what should be the deciding factor for you when it comes to picking the right blogging platform? Now, in my experience, as well as in my students' experience that I teach inside CEO Blogger Academy, I always recommend them to look at what is going to be the main way that they're going to monetize their blogs. So this should really have the deciding vote when it comes to picking the right blogging platform. If you plan to monetize your blog with just products and services, then Wix and Squarespace can be a good deal for you because they're easy to set up. You can set up a store or a shop relatively quickly on these platforms and you can start selling your products, let's say, from just another day or 2. You don't need to have a long process in place in order to be able to do that. Whereas on WordPress.org, it might take you a little bit longer to set up that site or that store option, as well as add all the payment options and so on and so forth. However, if you're looking to monetize your blog with more than just products and services and you want to include ads, you want to include affiliates, you want to include sponsorships, then I really recommend going with WordPress.org because in the long run, you're going to have much more options when it comes to setting up these monetization platforms or monetization options with WordPress compared to if you're using Wix or Squarespace. So the deciding factor, in my opinion, really should be on what you think is going to be the business model behind your blog. And if you think that all you're going to do is sell products, then it absolutely doesn't matter which of these platforms you pick. In fact, I would suggest that a quicker way for you to get started would probably be Wix or Squarespace, also because you'll be able to see an ROI of that monthly investment right away. Whereas when you are on a limited budget and you want to make sure that you are covering all your options when it comes to monetization, and or you don't really know how you're going to monetize your blog, in that case, WordPress.org is the safest place to start. So even though there's a little bit more of an upfront cost, in the long run, it's actually much cheaper than paying a monthly or an annual fees to Squarespace or Wix for hosting your blog as well as your site. Now, I know that some of you might have already started your blog and you're already wondering whether or not it's worth it to migrate. Now, if you've already started your blog, Keep in mind again the same factors that I told you about. If you are planning to monetize your blog with all the methods possible, then it might be worth a shot to migrate to WordPress.org from Wix or Squarespace, or vice versa if you have a different monetization strategy. However, if you haven't yet started your blog, I would not recommend getting started on Wix or Squarespace first and then moving your site over to WordPress.org, because not only is it a very painful and time-consuming process, it's also going to cost you a lot. So unless you are a developer and you know how to migrate a site, which I'm guessing 9 times out of 10 most bloggers aren't, you're going to have to enlist technical support, which might run a couple of $100 more. So in the long run, you'll end up wasting even more money on this decision, which could have been really simple from the get-go. So if you haven't yet jumped in and bought any of these plans, I would recommend to consider starting with WordPress.org and then later moving on to another option if that suits you better, because doing it the other way around is going to cost you a lot of time, money, and effort that you could have spent doing things to grow your blog instead. Okay, so when it comes to the final verdict, if you want to keep all of your options open, have a customizable, affordable, and a scalable blogging platform, which is going to be the backbone of your blogging business for the next couple of years, I would recommend you get started with WordPress. However, if you want a platform that's quick to start, it's easy to set up, it looks pretty, and you don't have to waste too much time learning anything, then I would recommend going with Wix or Squarespace, specifically if your target audience is going to buy products or services from you. So I hope this video was helpful. I dive more into what you need to start a successful blog right now in my free 1-hour masterclass that you're going to find more details of in the description box below. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more such videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.